Good evening, members. Welcome to returning members. Welcome to some new members, and in particular to Richard Harbord. Over here, Richard is our first independent expert addition to Audit Committee. This is a new appointment in accordance with SIT for guidance. Richard has a wealth of expertise in local government and finance, having worked as a Section 151 officer in many councils and held numerous board and regulatory positions. I believe that there is no planned fire drill tonight. I am scanning around trying to find the official wording I'm supposed to read out.
So it's hidden there. It was hidden there.
Thanks, Phil. So there are no fire alarms scheduled for this evening. Therefore, if the fire alarm sounds, please evacuate the building immediately. The fire exit is located at the side of the room. Exit through reception and meet in War Memorial Park. This meeting is being webcast live on the internet and will be available to view on YouTube after the meeting. Please switch your mobile phones off or to silent. Okay, there is a lot of business on tonight's agenda. Councillor Phillimore.
Whether or not it's the right place to mention it, Chair, but I do find that a 500-page agenda is a hell of a lot of business to transact in one evening.
I agree. We've had the conversation with officers. It is a combination of things, one of which is there are a couple of items of business on there that would have normally been approved 6 or 3 months earlier. What I'm planning to do about it, Councillor Phillimore, is to try and get through it before we hit the 3-hour adjournment watershed. And in the interest of smooth running and members' questions, I will be taking all papers as read. I'll be moving some items for which we have guests forward. So I'm going to move the agenda around a fair bit so that those guests can leave earlier. There are also several items that are there for noting. So I'll be moving those from the chair quite quickly so that members have more time available for questions on matters that are perhaps more opportune for discussion. So for members' reference, we'll take items 1 to 5, then we'll take item 18, which is the Arling Close closed investment paper. Then we'll take item 15, which is the auditor's report. I believe Larissa's here or is joining. Then we'll take item 16, which is the 2021-22 accounts. Then we'll take 6, 7, 8. I'm pushing item 9 to the end of the agenda. That's the annual governance statement for 22-23. We probably don't need that until January at the earliest. So I've been advised by officers that that's one that if we don't have time to fill it tonight, we can push that one. And then we'll take the final items about the work of the committee going forward. I do want to get everything done before 9:30, but as I said, if we don't, I'm going to defer item 9. I'll ask now because it's likely we'll hit the 3 hours. Can anyone not extend? Does anyone want to say now that or? Councillor Tustain.
Yeah, I'd rather not extend if we can avoid it. Thank you. Obviously, if it's just going to be a few minutes, then that's reasonable.
So if members could bear with me if I try to speed things along and just bear that in mind in context. I've got to try and strike the right balance between the ability to ask questions and the ability to get all the business on the paper done. So moving on to apologies. I have apologies from Councillor Gaskell. I have apologies from Councillor Falconer. Are there any other apologies? I'm not seeing any. We have Councillor Mummoneleni here as a substitute. Moving on to declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? None. Moving on to, I think it's item 3, the appointment of a vice chair. Is anyone, would anyone like to nominate anyone for vice chair? Councillor Phillimore.
Well, I'd like to nominate Councillor Graham Faulkner, but he's not here. But I don't know if he wants to stand. But if we're consistent, you didn't allow that at scrutiny. An absentee vice chair, but I think Graham would be the vote for the job.
It's a non-political committee, so it doesn't matter who's vice chair, is my understanding. Councillor Tustain, did you have something to say, or no? Does anyone else have a view on? Would anyone like to second the appointment of Councillor Faulkner? Are there any other candidates? I think Councillor Faulkner would be an excellent choice. I believe because he's not here, we can make the appointment provisional on his acceptance of that. So moving on to item 4, urgent matters. There are none, and we have no members of the public to speak tonight. I will just draw your attention to, we do have a supplementary paper for item 11. I don't know if everyone's got that on their desk. Great, thank you. So moving on to item 5, minutes of 6th of March 2023. We are allowed to consider their accuracy only. May I move that from the chair? Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Tustain. Those minutes are approved. Next is agenda item 18, external funds monitoring from Arling Close. The existence of this paper is open, but we then need to go into a closed session, and there's some wording I need to read to you. So, okay, so the meeting needs to move into private session, and I propose that the committee does that now. May I have a seconder? Councillor Lenny seconds that, thank you. Read the following resolution. Agree with members that the meeting is now to become confidential by passing the following motion. That pursuant to section 100A(4) of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the remainder of the meeting on the grounds that the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing it, and therefore that exempt information is likely to be disclosed, as defined in the appropriate paragraphs 3 of Schedule 12A to the Act. So we're going to turn the webcast off now, and the webcast will come back on once we've come out of closed session. Democratic